It's Doug Gottlieb Show here on Fox Sports Radio, and so pleased to have Solomon Wilcots, who joins us here. And, look, I want to get to the game, but we're still kind of close to reacting.
Yeah.
Where were you when you found out Kobe Bryant died?
I was here in Miami, and I was with some friends, and you're right. You'll never forget where you were. And, I was born and raised in Los Angeles. I grew up there, been a Laker fan my entire life going back. I remember when I was 8 years old going to my first Laker game in the days of Jerry West and Elgin Baylor. And we seem to have always been able to come up with those great stars. And I remember when Kobe Bryant first played for the Lakers, I said, he's the next one. He's the next great one in the long lineage of the Jerry West, the Wilt Chamberlains, the Kareem Abdul-Jabbars, the Magic Johnson, and now Kobe Bryant. So it was a huge shock. My kids, who are now adults, young adults, who we lived in L.A., we lived in Calabasas. And they started texting me because their entire lives, the guy was always Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, it's. I think that's why there's been such an incredible reaction. And I think, his personal image has turned around greatly over the last 10 years to where he's beloved, and he's like a beloved figure.
Didn't you get the sense that in these later years since his retirement, he was kind of in a happy place? It's like he was finding himself, and you got the sense that his best years were ahead of him and that he was prepared to do some great work. Look, I lived through those moments where the team was torn apart with Karl Malone and Gary Payton, and when Shaq had to leave and Phil Jackson had to leave, and Kobe was kind of left us in the lurch thinking he's going to go to the Clippers. And I remember all those days.
Right.
But it's in so many ways we were able to put that behind us. He seemed to be prepared to just offer the entire city and even the entire globe his better self. That's what you kind of got the sense.
If you were Tom Brady, what would you do?
If I was Tom Brady and looked up and I was the 18th highest paid quarterback in the league, knowing what I've done, I'd look at a team like Tampa with Chris Godwin and Mike Evans.
He's not going to Tampa.
Well, so you just asked me if I was Tom Brady, what would I do?
I know, but but remember, you have Giselle Bundchen as your wife.
Well, he's going to go where he can win.
I understand, but
don't think markets. Don't think markets. Think about winning. Think about where you can go to win. Listen, if the stories are true, Doug, she's a businesswoman. She's the one who stoked the fires. Who says you need to get your market value. Well, she also knows that it may not. Let me finish. It may not be in New York or L.A. or Chicago. Okay, she's a businesswoman.
Right.
So this isn't like a runway model where you can go over to Europe and make your best buck.
Okay, so here's a question, and you've analyzed this thing for over 2 decades. What is his real market value? Not his name and his success brings an incredible amount of cachet. On the other hand, like in terms of what he actually brings at 42, 43 years old, what is it in your opinion?
In my opinion, here's how the NFL works.
Okay.
Market value is driven by desire to win, and it's even driven higher by the desire to win now. And what does that mean? We have a team that's ready. We need to go get a quarterback, even if it's rent a quarterback for a year. Phillip Rivers are the two that are most available that you think could actually make that happen for you. So that's what's going to drive the market, and the market says that the going rate for those guys who are that special, just like Peyton Manning was a rent-a-quarterback in Denver.
Sure.
It's the top dollar. I'm not saying he'll get $30 million, but for 1 year, oh, absolutely, because he has enough equity and enough credibility where all you need is one team to bite of that apple. And I think with Bruce Arians, if you look at what their defense did 1 year ago, and you look at the offense in terms of how they're constructed, I'm not saying they're a quarterback away from winning a championship, but as long as they believe it, they would pluck down the money for that one guy. And I think Tom Brady is that one guy.
I think it'd be more Rivers because he's more comfortable in the area. That's my opinion. But I respect yours. I agree with you. I agree with you in that Brady would be great. I guess my question with Brady is, here's the difference. Phillip Rivers had 2 different play callers this year. Like Tom Brady, with the exception when Josh was gone, he's always had that one guy. How hard an adjustment is that?
Bruce Arians? If you knew Bruce Arians like I know him, like Kurt Warner knows him.
No, look, I know he's the whisperer, right?
But what kind of guy he is?
No, I know, but what about just the verbiage and the way Brady does things? How difficult transition?
Brady is smart enough and been in this game for 20 years. You think the verbiage is going to confuse him?
No, not him, but
it's not.
But what have we always seen? What we see when guys go to what's the hardest thing in New England is finding wide receivers who can get up to speed.
That's because
Mohamed Sanu's a brilliant guy.
Because of the mental Rolodex that you have to have. Thomas played in that system. Most teams, they carry over 60 to 70% of the game plan each and every week.
Right.
The Patriots don't. So because you played in a system like that for 20 years, that means your mental Rolodex this is different. This is not like going from checkers to chess.
Yeah.
This is going from chess to checkers. And that's why people who come to the Patriots, they're not used to the volume and the diversity within the offense from week to week. So because Brady is used to that, there is no place he's going to go where it's going to be more complicated than where he just left.
All right, let me ask you about Pat Mahomes. Like I said, you've done this.
Love him.
You've played it. You know it really well.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything missing? Like, are we missing something? Because all of us are watching. We're like, wow. He's smart, he's a leader, he's athletic, he's accurate, he's got great arm strength. He performs well so far in tough moments, right? They're trailing in playoff games, granted at home, not on the road. We'll see in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Is there anything we're missing that he needs to add to his game?
Just more experience, just seeing more. Like, for instance, when you throw the ball late over the middle of the field, that's a bad thing. Andy Reid allows him to do it because he's been successful at doing it. We're going to watch some games in the future that's going to come back to bite him because that is a rule that typically has not worked well for quarterbacks. He's gotten away with it, and I think when you have a larger sample size, I think some of them will come back to bite him. So his talent, I think, has led to some moments where he is extremely confident. You and I both know that I don't care what you do for a living, what sport you may play, there are some life lessons and moments of humility that are waiting around the corner. Yeah. That's just by the law of averages, right? But at the end of the day, I just think that you've got to play him with coverage, not pass rush. In other words, rush 4, drop 7, force him to be patient. Don't give him the long ball. Force him to be a dink and dunk guy. That's not the game he wants to play. And what happens is typically, and no, I haven't seen many teams be able to do it, most quarterbacks, aren't patient enough. They don't want death by 1,000 cuts. They want to gash you with big bombs, big shots down the field. That's how he's lived. That's how he's made a reputation. If you force him to play differently, we'll have to see if we see some chinks in the armor. So far, we have not seen that from him.
It's really, really remarkable. The last thing, the Niners feel like a tremendous all-around football team. Both lines, running backs.
Coverage on the back end.
Correct. I mean, you have a Hall of Famer, back there in Richard Sherman. Is Jimmy Garoppolo good enough to win this game?
See, I think he is. And you say, well, Solomon, how can you say that? I think we have examples from that New Orleans Saints game.
Perfect example.
The Superdome against Drew Brees, where he got in a shootout and won it and drove his team the length of the field to kick the game-winning field goal with the game on the line. Now, it took a George Kittle dragging of free safeties and defensive backs, right, and another penalty flag to help with that. But he had the ball in his hands last. He drove them the length of the field in a shootout on the road, which you and I both know that was one heck of a game. It was one of the better games all season. So we've seen in a couple of moments. I even go back to the Week 17 game on the road at Seattle. That was a big-time win. So he's shown us a few of those now. And this guy, remember his first year in San Francisco where he won 5-6 games in a row as a starter when that team was done. They were horrible. And he turned them into a winner. That's where you see Jimmy G at least saying, here's what I bring to the table. Does he make everyone better around him? Yeah. Now, has he done it for a long period of time? Does he have this huge body of work? No. And I think that's where the questions come from.
What are you doing with Zilretta here? This is when you have, chronic knee pain?
Yeah, it's osteoarthritis knee pain more specifically. And, yeah, a lot of weekend warriors. You played basketball. You know what that's about. I know a lot of NBA guys, they walk and they're all hunched over. And so what happens, this is it's a corticosteroid shot where it is released over time. Once you just get one shot, and it gives you tremendous relief from pain from osteoarthritis. All you have to do is go to the website, GetTheZ.com. That's GetTheZ.com. You'll find a doctor in your area who can help you. If you're a weekend warrior, if you're an aging athlete like you and I are, Doug, okay, totally. And you've got pain from osteoarthritis in the knee, this is the place to go. The knee? Or can you? Yeah, it's only been approved by the FDA to treat osteoarthritis pain in the knee.
Huh, that's amazing. Yeah. And you feel what, like $1 million?
Well, Rod Woodson is the one. He's had the treatment. I have not had the treatment because my knees are fine.
Yeah.
But I work with a PR firm. We work with companies like this, and we help athletes to find treatments that are really cutting edge, that are innovative and have tremendous amount of technology. And this is one of those companies. Flexion Therapeutic with Zilretta, and that's the name of the treatment. It's called Zilretta. You can find out more about it by going to GetTheZ.com.
Non-opioid treatment too, which is super important, not just for former athletes, but for anybody. Hey, man, you had a great year.
Well, I appreciate it.
I cannot tell you how much we appreciate joining Talking Ball with us.
Yeah.
And enjoy the Super Bowl.
I love coming on with you. All the best to you.
Hey, what up? Doug Gottlieb here. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel here at Fox Sports Radio. You can catch my show, all the shows on Fox Sports Radio, unique interviews, strong takes, just interesting discussion on the sports topic of the day, of the week, of the month. It's all encompassing. It's everything you need right here on YouTube. Subscribe.